There are three major decisions upon the spiritual journey at this point. The first is to sit up and say, this can be different. Huge decision. I'm not just going to live the way I've always lived. There's something different here. Yes? You've all done that. Good job. The second decision is akin to crossing the Grand Canyon. It's a gigantic paradigm shift. It takes something that comes deep from within, and it's a leap of faith to start walking across that open space. And that decision is to live as a creator rather than as a victim. Having the I create my reality be your reality rather than reality happens to me and hopefully it just won't suck too bad all the time. Yes? That's gigantic. And so many people don't understand I create my reality and they get it all mixed up. They think I create my reality only when I create good stuff. The rest of the time, something went wrong. Or I can't take responsibility for this creation because if I took responsibility for this creation, I would have to take responsibility for something bad. And why would I create something bad? I don't do bad things to myself. I'm not, blah, 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 blah. There's no answer there except the idea that you are a creator. You did create it. Anything in your world is true in you. And that means everyone else is a creator. And that means that you could create anew as you learn what you're gifted to learn by anything that's happening in the moment. You can then create once you accept the moment. Okay? Now comes the interesting part because most of you are going, yeah, I already got that part. Get on with it. So the next one is once you've jumped over the Grand Canyon or walked or done whatever you did and you're meandering along on the plateau, you come to a mountain. This is a very, very tall mountain. It's not a very cold mountain, though. We're going to pass on the cold mountain for Veronica's benefit because she's like, don't make it a cold one. Okay, okay. It's not a cold mountain, not like Mount Everest. It's a warm mountain, as if that exists. Okay, so we're going to pretend that a warm mountain exists on your planet so that Veronica won't be cold, and so you'll get the point of the story. We're trying to get there, we promise. As you decide, just a moment, we got all distracted with the cold and the warm and the hot and the not. Doesn't happen very often, does it? Just a moment. See, what's happened here is Veronica doesn't remember the story. And so in her trying to remember the story, it gets in the way of us telling the story. And this doesn't happen as often as it used to, but it still happens occasionally. Just a moment. We're not telling her the story. We're letting her just sit with the fact that she doesn't know the story. And she's going, but I can remember it. This is, it's for her too, not just you guys. So, she says, fine then. Okay. So, as you encounter the mountain and you make the decision, you make the choice, you make the commitment to live your life from the perspective that everything is neither good nor bad. When you make that choice to see everything as a learning experience, you start to climb the mountain. Ascension, you've heard the word? You start to ascend the mountain. And every step you make takes you to a higher and higher place, higher vibrational. But every step you make is colored with the gravity of habitual response. The gravity is the idea that you could make another choice very easily. You could habitually make another choice. You could choose to see something as bad. You could choose to see something as wrong. You could choose to go into a habitual response. But each step you make on the path, literally upward toward ascension in higher vibration, where you see that you're having the effect of gravity on you, but you make a decision to move ahead with being a creator, not seeing anything as bad or wrong, not having anything be in duality, but instead to recognize that everything is here for me to learn from. Even though gravity's pulling on you just like it was down on the plane, you say, no, I am going to make the spiritual choice to move forward in this way. And every step you take, gravity is still in effect. But just like you ignore gravity right now, eventually that other choice drops away and you stop knowing it's there. But as you start to walk up the mountain, maybe you're a little more conscious of feeling heavy, or a little more conscious of the change in terrain. And that's where most of you are now, is at the change in terrain. You're at the change in terrain of your spiritual journey. You're clear you're a creator. You're really clear when you're being a victim. But now, pardon us, is the opportunity for you to see your spiritual journey as this opportunity to live from insight, to not see things as bad or good, to not live in duality, to not live in habit, but to recognize that all of those old patterns are still pulling on you. They're still asking for your attention, but you have a higher vision, a higher journey in mind. That's to get to the top of the mountain. And the top of the mountain requires that although those things are still asking for your attention, you keep your focus on step by step seeing your world in this new way, experiencing your world in this new way, and living in your world in this new way, emanating out this healed pattern that you're existing in. You don't have time to teach. You don't have time to fix. You don't have time to lecture. What you have is the focus for each step to be raising your vibration, coming more and more and more into conscious living. You're at the change in the terrain. And this is 2009. So don't expect it to be similar to 2008, because that was a lot of walking in the plains. And now we're at the change in terrain, which is very nice. It all rhymes quite nicely. And it allows you the opportunity to say, okay, something has shifted. And that, if we get nothing else through tonight, we want you to recognize that something has shifted. And it's not shifting back. And you are on that horse, in that boat, on that bus, whatever you want to call it, you are on it. You are going, you are moving, and you are in that direction. And now all that is your responsibility is your choices and your reactions. It's not about, have I read the book, or did I see the movie, or did I go to the class, or did I. All the did I's are, enough of them at least, are done to where it simply is your choices and your reactions.
Yeah.
For those people who are clear that they're at the change in terrain place, that is your syllabus. That's your to-do list. That's your on your plate. Your choices by using your spiritual free will to let habitual response be in your past and to choose to live by inspiration. And your reactions to the situations you find yourself in by assuming the neutral position and allowing yourself to learn from everything that's presented to you, taking complete ownership of what you see. That is 2009's change in terrain.
Okay.
And as you go about this journey, as you're focused in this way, you are serving others as you emanate higher and higher energetics to them. You don't need to be so concerned with fixing or teaching or straightening other people out. Be concerned about your journey so that you can be part of what's going on that's healed. And that makes transformation possible. It also makes it possible for you to experience the world in a way that's very different from the folks that are on the other side of the Grand Canyon. And there's plenty of folks that are still on the other side of the canyon that have not yet understood their creator, that are going to find a plenty of things to feel victimized by with the economic situation primarily. There's plenty of hooks and Velcro for victimization at this time. And you, as light workers, are being called to stay focused through this time, through this change in terrain. Okay? So that's really important for you all to know. Okay, now we've had a little sit down. John.